Double Madness! Welcome in to our second semi-final. We've already seen Denvoxnay book his place in the final with a victory over Spuda, but now two gentlemen will face off for a spot against him. In the one corner, the man from Bulgaria, indecisive by name, incisive by nature. It's Indecision! And going up against him this evening, a young gun mid laner from Denmark looking to prove them all wrong. It's Jinrays! But before we see them tear pieces out of each other, we're going to be jumping to a special pitside report with J-Real. J-Real, buddy, are you there?
Thank you very much. In the studio here, we are back on the river, getting a close-up sideline action of this mid-split Mundo Ball madness. It's an absolute scenes coming in. We've seen cleavers flying left and right, but we are here ready for another round. Two people are ready to go. We'll get to see some action, and it's all right. The action is started. We're going to start back to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Oh no, it's over.
Getting the reporting that we need. Patrick Paul Batiste could never, but
why did you remind more than me? Oh no, I haven't. Fuck me.
Landing the majority of the cleavers thus far, but Indecision going toe for toe. It looks like the working out for Jinrays.
Oh no.
Indecision rather rocking that one, but it is the Mundo on the south side of the Baron Pit who is getting
fucking farted, bro.
Got the ghost popped for both of these guys, but a distinct health advantage for Jinrays. One more.
It's done. It's over.
He's going to be able to heal up a little bit with his own cleaver, but Indecision looking to fall down, flashes away crucially.
He's nervous.
Fucking ward expired.
More hit to take game one.
Well played. Alright, we go.
Yes, sir.
So we have reached a critical junction.
Touching Arcane.
They trade blows.
Same as last time. You already know who's gonna win then.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. It's the wrap. It's done.
Bro, it's over, bro.
For you.
Nah, but you're not allowed to do that, by the way. Like,
why not? I just have to stand my side now?
Relatively even between these two Mundos.
Oh no.
Jinray looking a little bit shakier than he was in the first game of this series.
What?
Bomba.
Unguarded hit.
As the nullifying orb is going to get popped off Jinrays, and it's
Not on my screen, bro.
man from Nord who is winning out in this game. He is quietly into that sweet.
I will not flash out to you so bad.
One cleaver to the face away from going down. The flash from Indecision picks it up. Back in for the last game of this series between Indecision and Jinrays. No matter what,
and it's over already.
We'll be going on to the final up against Denver.
It's really over.
Played it before, don't I?
Early advantage in this
Yeah, I played earlier today.
Indecision really struggling.
Yeah, you have,
just
like,
looking
warm-up.
to get
It's not
something
fair.
back, but with every miss cleaver, his health bar is falling lower.
Nah, bro.
It doesn't look like he is going to miss one. This has been a close series thus far, but it looks like
still.
game 3.
The bag is still full.
It's done.
The bag is empty, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Very few tools available to himself as the Arcane Comet finishes him off with Jinray. Goes all the way to the final. And there we have it. It was a close run thing going to all 3 games, but eventually Jinray's able to come out on top. Commiserations to Indecision, but that now means that we've got Dane versus Dane in the final. Denvoxnay versus Jinray. You do not want to miss it.
How sick is that? I was way more invested in the Mundo Madness than I was in the in last game. I'm not gonna lie, that was so high.
It's not a high bar.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we are walking over a bar on the floor. Anyway, hello and welcome back to the NLC. We're getting ready to go into game number 3. It's going to be Ruddy versus Fourth Wall. I pray that we have a little bit more action than we did in the previous game. You know, again though, I think game 1 set the bar so high for us, and then like game 2
Honestly,
obviously
didn't it though?
was Game 2 was rough, even by like a normal game standard, but like the bar was so high, and then we just didn't even get remotely close. We like tripped up on the way over to the high jump. But game 3 promises to be pretty exciting. Ruddy are guaranteed a spot in the grand finals, so they're more just playing for a mixture of upset and potential seeding, depending on if natives lose. Oh no, don't worry, they're not playing for seeding. They're third regardless. But they are playing. They're playing to play upset because Fourth Wall are still within a chance.
Can you explain to the viewers at home, and definitely not anyone on this caster desk, how they're guaranteed to be in the grand finals?
How they Ruddy for the grand finals.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna pass over to
Aragon.
Yeah, go on, Aragon. Tell me why Ruddy are going to be at the grand finals.
I don't think they're going to be at the grand finals.
Okay.
Oh, then they're going to be in the grand finals then. He literally just cursed it. It's happening.
For playoffs. They're guaranteed for playoffs
true,
and guaranteed third place, right? So that's basically Fourth Wall are still clambering onto that last spot. Yeah. I really wasn't trying to put you on the spot there, Jake.
Did I say grand finals? Is that what that was?
Yeah. I was like very confused. I was like, wait, am I missing something here, or are you
No, I'm an idiot.
You just missed that's fine.
I'm an idiot, and then I threw Aragon under the bus. Anyway, we're into picks and bans. We've seen a Yasuo ban already.
I don't think they are good.
Yasuo Sejuani bans. Okay, yeah. Why are they good?
So Sejuani is really good for the side of Ruddy generally because Sejuani enables melee topside compositions really well, and they love Shihan loves his Darius. They love their melee mids, stuff like Yone. I believe they were playing Yasuo compositions as well. So taking that away, I believe they played Silas Sejuani last time. They managed to win, but it didn't look great. They also drafted Nunu, I believe. Look, they've got Zapdo, and he's like a cook,
Nunu,
right?
Yeah.
He loves to cook.
Master
so who knows what they're gonna pull up? Relsbad! Oh my god!
Oh, it's happening!
Sorry.
It's happening!
A little bit of a freak out.
She's
finally
gone.
That probably leaves Kai'Sa there. It is, and a Tristana handshake. No, Tristana's banned. So this is a really good set of pick bans. I'm really happy with it. Kai'Sa, let's see what they match it with.
Yeah, just how it kind of racked my brain on what's open. They could take away the Nautilus as a denial pick, but no instant Maokai Jace lock in here for the side of Ruddy. This does lead back towards, the wide pool of supports that could get picked up here if they want to pick up like a solid bot lane in that Nautilus that you can pair it up with. Obviously, you could expect, some kind of answer to that Nautilus in the bot side. I know we said Xayah doesn't like playing into the Nautilus, but she does at least absorb that ulti. Nope, the answer is actually just going to be a Lissandra here for the mid lane for Jimrius. And I assume then they're going to look towards the jungle.
Yeah, he loves this Lissandra pick. He's very good on these style of champions, like the Nico and the Lissandra. He's kind of like two favorite ones. They're having questions about his champion pool, whether he's going to rely too much on champions like the Lissandra. But when you're really just at this point, screw it, screw the doubters. You're just trying to get into playoffs. Pick your best champions. Pick what you can get away with. And absolutely, Lissandra is Jinrei's best champion. And I do think Fourth Wall have looked the best when Jinrei is able to pull it out, and Lissandra is definitely something that can work, and I think it's very good at absorbing pressure as well. Like, it's going to be hard for Jace plus Maokai, which would otherwise be an exceptionally scary mid jungle duo to punish Lissandra.
So what we have here is Ruddy building a poke composition with that Varus plus Jace into the Maokai saplings, landing it with the sapling, so confirming the cues from both Jace and Varus into a kill first target composition being built by Fourth Wall, right? You have that Viego Lissandra combo, which is very predicated on killing the first target you see. You get the reset on Viego as well as that Lissandra passive on one kill, right? Which can be teamfight deciding. So I want to see both teams heavily index into this, right? Maybe you draft more disengage for the side of Ruddy to be able to keep up that poke, whilst you also draft more dive, right? More dive for the side of Fourth Wall. You could see that Nautilus was actually taken away by Ruddy because it works really well here. What else is left? I mean, you can go something like a Mumu, something like Leona, anything with hard engage that facilitates Kai'Sa well.
Yeah, I also think the Rumble ban was a very good one as well, because that kind of synergizes in for that kind of big team fight reset kind of comp they were going for here. The Renekton blind pick here for Ruddy. Hopefully Shihan has a slightly better experience. And no... Kennen gets locked in. We'll see what they do decide to answer out with here, because they will be looking towards that support and that top lane. It could be that Ornn, like you were saying.
This is the thing, is I was thinking like something that has a good engage. The difficulty of Ornn for me is like Braum is still open on the other side, and like if you're looking for this thing, you're right, Braum is banned. So I was gonna say, because Braum will just completely ruin everything that you were thinking of there, but that's true. Braum Braun will not be taken in it. And I like Malphite as well as an answer, because that is very much like an armor-focused champion. And you've already seen the Jace and the Renekton that really should shut down a lot of those solo lanes. And depending on what build Varus goes as well, I've seen like AP Varus builds being a thing as well. But a more poke-focused build would be just completely locked down from that Malphite. It is going to be Alistar instead. Still some engage, but could struggle in the lane phase here actually against, depending on what Pui decides to pick up.
Yeah, I really like this, right? I initially said Ornn, but I really like the Malphite. It very much contributes to this like we go dive composition. Renata here would actually be turbo. Renata's really good at disengaging against like heavy dive melee composition, because you have that ulti, you know, the berserk to make people go away. The same with the Q. I really like it. This is an incredibly fun draft. I think it'll be very much on who executes better, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
There you go. Renata is in fact turbo. Thank you, Aragon, making me and Foxy sound old with all your Zoomer speak. I like both these comps. Finally a game where I feel like one team hasn't just like hard outdrafted the other. I think they both have pretty clear conditions in how they get played. I do think if the game starts to go later, obviously you have the same thing with Renekton, where he starts to become less relevant, where the Malphite, you know, regardless of his lane state, as the game goes later, it doesn't really matter. He still just presses R and team goes airborne. So I do think, you know, as far as like the strict ease of execution, Fourth will actually have I think an easier team to execute here. But Ruddy, they have really nice setup, really nice disengage, like you said. The Renata ultimate just completely like takes over the fight. And then you've obviously got like so much follow up and poke and just kind of like ability to control the landscape of the fight from Ruddy. Both teams have drafted really, really nice teams here. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on this, Foxy. You know, what are you favoring right now?
What am I favoring here? I do think the poke from Ruddy is really, really strong, and they've got good things to facilitate it as well. It's not enough to just draft full poke champions. Like I think Maokai, as Edgar mentioned with the saplings, is really good for poke, but also the ultimate is crazy. It just like get away from us, just go, just run away. Renata as well, obviously, is a big bang pick there too. I think it's on the other side though for Fourth Wall. It's hard to bet against Jim Race and his Lissandra, and the amount of CC on that team is incredible, and a lot of that CC as well is not necessarily things that you can even like cleanse or sash or like, you know, tenacity away, like specifically the knockups like Malphite knockup and Alistar combo and stuff. So it's it can be really difficult to play into that, and for me my eyes are going to be on the Viego in the jungle, because he's up against the Maokai, which is a relatively simpler matchup, and if we can actually see the Viego kind of take off and get things going, then I think that could be a really big win condition here for Fourth Wall.
Just, you mentioned the Lissandra again. I just want to, on that note, I want to bring in, I actually talked to Tamara, right, the support for Fourth Wall, and I asked, how come you guys are winning now, right? Because they had a terrible slump at the beginning of the season. They didn't have their teammates. And he actually mentioned the Lissandra. He said, I have no idea. We can translate lead to winning bot and mid. Mid is good on Lissandra because it actually makes him think, right? That's what he gave me as an answer. So
Lissandra, wait, Lissandra is something that stimulates brain cells? That doesn't make sense. It
makes him think about his engages, right? I think that's the main thing. Right. I thought it was pretty funny. But still, I really like the Renata pick, right? I just thought about the Renata again, and it also actively denies those resets from the Viego and the Lissandra. So just a turbo pick, right? You highlighted it. Pui here doing really well in the draft. Both teams, I think, just posturing. Just confirming I am not... Okay, I can hear you guys. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's you.
Yeah, don't worry. We're just letting you... we're letting you...
Let me fester with my thoughts. Yeah, thank you.
Fester with your thoughts.
I do think...
bad way to word it.
I do think it's very important that both teams consider being first on the objective, right? Because it's really, really hard to take back river control versus Maokai, for example, whereas Maokai can't, right? So it's really important that Fourth Wall are not trying to face check like into Maokai saplings, Jace Qs, and Varus Qs, right? Going forward into the future at these dragon fights, it's exactly what Ruddy want to do, is be there early. And if Fourth Wall aren't there early, they aren't going to be able to fight, right? So a little bit skirmishing and slapping each other, you know. Is he going to get a grass proc? Ooh, free 18 gold in terms of a grass proc there. Really nice.
Let's go. Yeah, Xian really didn't like that, did he? He took about half his health.
Yeah.
Not ideal. And for what? Didn't get any vision down. Didn't obviously disrupt you. That's yeah, well
He
read
saw
there for the
you.
fourth wall.
They had information.
Yeah, there he saw him and then he stayed. It was like, he was like desperate to get a war done or something, but still didn't. I'm not really sure.
What is going on up here? Okay,
It's
Xinyan does
the
have a
action
Kiwi.
you're looking for, Jake. They heard you complaining about the snooze fest, and
Yeah.
here we go.
No, I'm happy with it.
Yeah. All you need to know is that Xian is a Darius player, which explains this, right? It absolutely does explain this. If you ever play into Darius OTP, they play like this on every champion, and they just run you down level 1. Still really good. Managed to hit the level 2 there. Actually changed that trade into something winning, which didn't look very good at the start, right? Because of the base damages from Malphite. Still, priority for this Renekton. Secures the second wave crash and the bounce back. Maybe you can look for a freeze and something else.
Looks like Pui just zoning the fourth wall bot lane off their tower. Well, off the wave and under the tower. As Zapdo just doing his clear on the bottom side. Didn't do a full clear where Ute has actually full cleared. Is currently on his red buff as MV carry. Taking himself a pretty nice fight here versus Jimrius. But this has been a very, very aggressive game. Instantly Ruddy coming in with the invade. Try and see if they can catch onto Ute. But Ute is able just to cloak himself in shadows and run away to safety. But Ruddy, they may still be looking for this one. Spotted out by the W from Ragnar. So that is going to be all she wrote on that little exchange.
You'd be happy with this. A little bit more tempo for him. He's doubling up the camps here for against Zapdo instead. So obviously he's going to eat that sapling. I won't really have to. Oh, there's a flash in.
Oh.
Pui
flashed at the same time. That's what happened.
Okay, it's fine. It's just a little bit aggressive here. There's a fourth wall now going to be, what's the word? A little bit scared, a little bit hesitant moving forward as their wave is pushing in and they don't have the cover from their jungler. But Zapdo is here.
Oh, they're looking for Chimera. Chimera gets himself the 4-man pole vault. Pui going low. Ragnar looking to finish him up. The heal comes in and saves the day for Pui. He isn't traded out. Ute may chase forwards though. Is looking for the lockdown. They find it onto Toaster. They get a bit more damage off. The AD carries one auto attack away. He survives. No, he doesn't. Ute goes down. Envy carry joins in and Ruddy find the play. They make it work as Ragnar loses so much HP.
And this is what we wanted, lads. This is exactly what we wanted the entire time. Jinray's just sitting there hitting mid. The roam in the end from Envy doesn't actually matter too much, but still trying to capitalize on that flashless Alistar from Chimera and actually manage to. Despite that, Toaster manages to live, you know, and walk away. I think who picked up the kills? I can't tell because of my overlay. Toaster managed to pick up the kill alongside Zapdo. Really good stuff from Ruddy, proactive play. Zapdo actually dropped a lot of camps, you know, to do that. He was just sitting there the entire time on 12 CS. If that didn't work out, there's a real possibility. He's just super far behind, like we saw in Decision in the last game.
And I just think that you maybe had to respect a bit more that Maokai could still be there, especially with his bot lane pushing in. I don't really put it all on you, because I think there's got to be some communication from his bot lane, like, yo, this is pushing in, can you shadow us? But more should have happened. No flash from MV carry.
Yeah, he's done so. Down he goes. Ute gets himself a second kill, and he is now significantly far ahead of Zapdo.
Moves into these chickens as well. Yeah, Zapdo's in a lot of trouble here. Level 3 versus level 4. The Jace transform. No one to protect the chicken camp if Yu wants to go for it. But I think he's just going to back away, I think. Zapdo should be able to pick that up. But yeah, MV carry flashed in, right, to try and finish off Ragnar in that bot lane play. Ragnar just used the cleanse and walked away. And in and of itself, in a vacuum, it's a trade for summoners, but no flash is a big deal when you're up against Lissandra, who just jumps towards you, locks you down, and then easy setups for Viego, which is very important. You know, I put a highlight on the jungle, specifically on Viego. If you have set up in your lanes, this guy can really pop off, and he's absolutely got that with Lissandra mid, with Alistar bot, and with the Malphite top.
Yeah, it's really hard, right? When you're against Jace, your biggest weakness, when you're playing Jace, your biggest weakness is people in your face, right? So in the past, Wukong and Vi were examples. And now you're against Lissandra 6. There's nothing you could do. You just get one shot and chain CC'd, so NB carry is going to fall again.
That is so tragic for him as well. He just comes back to lane, immediately gets himself chunked out as Ute steals away the form. Zapdo actually reveals his location, flashes forward, catches him with the lockdown, but that's a flash for nothing.
That was smart though. You had taken the Jace form and just knocked him back with a hammer. Like, that's brilliant. I mean, I know that sounds like a really little thing, but yeah, that's definitely saved his life right there. And considering he's not even playing Jace, and he still knows the small little mechanic there that would save his life. For Shihan and Fire now trading blows, but this really doesn't work out in Renekton's favor overall, as Fire's just happy to kind of keep trading back and get those grass procs. And as this game goes on, it should be easier really for Fire to just face tank the Renekton and just trade blows with him, no problem. Is a bit of a CS discrepancy though already in that top side. And now that he's hit level 6 though on the Malphite, maybe it opens up some plays for him, especially with Ute.
Yeah, still not going to have Flash for that Rift Herald fight for the side of NV Carry, so I imagine this Rift Herald goes over to the side of Fourth Wall, right? NV Carry is just getting engaged on off cooldown. He needs someone there shadowing him every single time he pushes out any wave, because without Cleanse, right, you cannot play, right? There's a reason why everyone takes Cleanse into Lissandra, because the matchup is unplayable without it. Unfortunately, you can't go Cleanse really on Jace. You need Teleport. So in a really, really sorry state of affairs without this Flash, and you've got to question his decision to flash bot side, right? Holding it for post 6 was probably a better idea.
Yeah, well, quick pause as we come out of that game. Definitely moving at a faster pace than game number 2. But man, it's been a rough one on the front of Ruddy, honestly. For the side of NV Carry, he's been a little bit camped. Just a little bit camped. And it's nice to see the kind of mid jungle of Fourth Wall recognizing how to play this comp. They burnt that flash and immediately punished NV Carry 2 times in a row. Burning the flash the first time, killing him, and then going, we could just kill him again because I've still got my flash to lock him down. And like you said, he was level 5 to level 6. There's no outplay to the level 6 Lissandra if you haven't got that flash in that sense.
Here's the thing. Sorry, I thought you were finished. I was completely.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Here's the thing, right? And I said this about last game with Veneer, and I'm going to say it again about this game with Ruddy. NV Carry, Jace, Toaster, Varus. Neither of these guys have played these champions yet this split. Now, Toast's been around for like a century at this point, so I'm sure he's got enough Varus games under his belt and he can do it. And yeah, like, I don't think it's going to be as much of a problem necessarily, but it could still be something, you know. It's not necessarily one of their comfort picks for sure. When you compare it, for example, like Toast has played like Ez and Zai like 4 times in this split. Like, these are champions with 0 games under their belt so far in this split. And I do think this is a great time for them to do this, however, if you are Ruddy, because these games don't really mean anything for you. You're locked into playoff, and I'm fairly certain you're locked into that 3rd spot as well. So this is the time to bring out some different picks here. That though is going to catch Chimera having to blow that flash away. Lots of flashes being blown so far, and of course, see if this gets set up for something in the future, as NV Carry's flash being blown, set up for him getting killed twice.
Yeah, and NV Carry's flash is still down. Right, you can see plays trying to be made. Look at the pings down bot side. Fourth Wall's bot lane is terrified. Take a look how far back they ran away. They're so scared of being dove on this slow stack, but realistically, there's no threat. I mean, there could be now. Renata placing W on that Maokai and just refusing to let him die. Honestly, Fourth Wall doing a really good job of respecting cross maps. This is something that a lot of teams in the league are really bad at, and it's just highlighting the Fourth Wall. Recently, their macro has been really good, putting up a fight against natives, and I say that, and I think I've cast a curse today again.
Oh, Ragnar, he gets caught as well. Instantly throws that cleanse out. They do catch them as well with the hostile takeover. Chimera's still alive, but Ragnar, that's a large wave, and he wants to try and collect on as much as possible. Instantly caught, has not got the E. Zapdo is going to take that tower shot, but the bailout will not save him this time. Down he goes.
That was just rough. It was rough as heck for Fourth Wall, and the worst thing about that as well is the huge minion wave under tower, right?
Yeah.
Like, that just, it sucks. And to be honest, something I didn't really appreciate, but with all the long range damage that comes through from Ruddy's comp, especially like things like the Renata with the ulti and the berserk, and like Varus with his autos and his abilities. Like, you don't really need to be under the tower to kill someone, right? Like, they were kind of just killing people from outside of tower range, so the dive becomes a lot more easy to execute in that sense, and a lot safer as well. So Ruddy really coming out on top of that.
There was one little macro thing about that play, which actually I think if Fourth Wall had played it slightly better, they may have been able to get 2 kills. I think they would have both died either way, but there was a brief moment where Chimera actually walked out away from Ragnar, so he didn't take the Twisted Advance or the ultimate from the Maokai. So then Ragnar had to cleanse it. And he may be able to cleanse either the hostile takeover or some follow-up CC, then use his flash to reposition underneath that tower. I think there was a world in which where if he hadn't been forced to cleanse on that, he may have been able to pick up maybe a couple of extra kills. But, you know, that's just nitpicky little moments. I have to give it to Ragnar. He was able to at least answer out with a kill in a 2-for-1 trade when they were 2 versus 3. But he has lost quite a lot of plates. I think that's going to be a major problem. There's a lot of gold onto Toaster right now. He's 2-1-2. He's got that static shiv. He has a farm lead. He's got those 4 plates under his belt as well. And he's in a pretty comfortable position off the back of that because of that now.
So they took Rift Herald, right?
Yeah.
Am I blind, or is there no Rift Herald in his inventory?
It got used mid.
Mid, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Then I am
mid.
blind. Thank you for confirming. I was absolutely terrified. Still, yeah, that explains the big plate discrepancy, and yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Holy moly, I was absolutely terrified. It also secures the Triforce for Ute, and Ute is really accelerated right now. The only
they're not doing it
people
again.
behind are Fourth Wall's bot lane, right? You can see Ute shadowing this dive. Zapto absolutely loves playing for Toaster. This is how they've been playing all of recent, and yeah, this looks a little bit scary.
If Fourth will go for the proactive play here, they're in a lot of trouble. But I think they're going to decide against it. I knew MV Carry was hovering in the river too, and now it's Jimray's turn to get the move out of mid lane. But again, I don't think too much is going to be happening here. I just want to touch a little bit on like Ruddy's team comp and specifically the itemization. Basically, they're full AD. If Varus doesn't build AP. So he's going AP, which to be honest is kind of like a standard thing for Varus. I don't want to say it's like a weird thing that he's going AP. It's not like, you know, Fire's got a full AD comp, so he's going full AP Malphite or something. It's pretty standard to be full AP Varus. Or, you know, AP-ish Varus. The problem is, though, like, if he's your only magic damage on your team, how difficult is it for Varus to consistently get to pump out DPS in these team fights? You know, like it's so if you walk up and you try and stack up your blight or whatever it's called,
Chimera,
you're gonna oh god, Chimera's gone in.
Fire's coming in as well. He's got himself the jump in. The hostile taker comes down, but Pui goes down. In the meanwhile, they're going to start taking away these forms as Ragnar's got the bailout on him, able to survive for just a little bit longer. But this is Ruddy getting run over by Fourth Wall as they trade out 1-4-2 as Chimera does see Toaster and decides to back away as the dragon has spawned up. Fourth Wall going to be picking this one up as Chimera comes in on the flank, gets the headbutt pole. Toaster instantly jumps away, but Jinrius finds the follow-up. You launches in, and Toaster trading out, but MV Carry with a hero play, trying to find himself the kill. Zapdo just about surviving as Fi finds himself the kill. Zapdo chasing up the Jinrius. Jinrius finds the lockdown, but he is shut down by Pui, and Dragon goes to nobody.
And a beautiful bit of team fighting coming out for Fourth Wall. Honestly, playing their comp to perfection, finding these engages. Their composition, like we highlighted in Champs League, is all about engaging the second you see someone to make sure you get that first kill and those resets. Unfortunately, it doesn't result in the Dragon, but they massively come out in terms of kill advantage in that skirmish. And they kept pulling the trigger. They never committed to the Dragon. They just kept going back in, and the fight lasted so long that we actually managed to res.
That is, I think it was great. It was absolutely brilliant from Fourth Wall to begin with, but the fact that they then tried to turn around onto Toaster, that was their big mistake there. They could have got that dragon pretty easy, and that was just like an overall net win for them. But just a little bit of greed there to try and get more. And as you say, with that fight lasting so long, with the death timers being so short at this point, Pui coming back alive and really putting a spanner in the works there for Fourth Wall. Overall, that's a positive play for Ruddy as another TP flank from the Lissandra.
That's the lockdown. That is
that's so
brutal.
beautiful.
They get a bailout, but it's not going to work as Pui just about shielding himself up and surviving. But Ute, with the stolen form, finds the kill. Absolutely brutal to get killed by your own AD carry.
And I guess this is what Chimera meant. Finding these like initial engages, finding these TP flanks. Jinrace is incredibly, you know, what's the word? Proactive, right? The instant he sees it, he takes it, right? I'm really impressed by Jinrace right now, and he just keeps finding these plays. Let's see how he continues it.
Yeah, no, entirely. I think Jinrace is, he was enabled heavily by Ute in the mid lane, but he is using that to not play for himself, but to play for the team. Fire, in the meanwhile, is going to quite happily turn his attention towards this tower, picking this one up. For the side of fourth wall, though, they do have to be a little bit concerned. Mountain Drake spawning up in 3 minutes 30. That will be number 3 if Ruddy can get their hands onto it. So Ruddy have been on it on that front of the neutral objectives. They are looking to pick up this second Rift Herald of the game. First one went over to fourth wall. It does look like fourth wall aren't really in the position to contest this, so they are just going to look to give this one up.
This is also the issue here with having Malphite in the bot side. He's not available to contest, play for that Herald. And like, it's nice that he gets the tower, but it was first blood tower as well. It's like 500 gold into a Malphite's pocket. Like, the thing is, you'd say on paper that's not really anything too great, but I actually think in the context of this game, if Malphite does get accelerated a little bit, he becomes unkillable. Like, I just don't like, he's so tanky, like so much physical damage on the side of Ruddy here, and as I was alluding to, I don't think Varus can effectively punish him if his ult's up, and Shihan now is going to be in trouble.
Yeah, he's in a little bit of danger. Shut down. You able to pick him up. He's a little bit too overextended for that tower, and not really too much he's going to be able to do about that one. Meanwhile, does look like Ruddy may just try to use their Herald in the mid lane and pick up this tower. Don't really think there's going to be much counterplay coming in from the side of fourth wall. Obviously, they've got static shift to somewhat trim the wave, so there won't be too much of a follow-up onto the tower number 2. May be able to get in position to stop the charge, but it looks like that's not going to happen as the Chain of Corruption does come down. It's going to hit onto you as they do trade out 2 towers there for the side of Ruddy. So Ruddy doing a great job of just finding some answer somewhere on the map as we get our second pause of the game.
Ooh, hopefully it's another short one, just like the previous pause. But that was a really good move there for Ruddy to break open tier 1 mid, get another charge onto tier 2 as well. Smart use of the Chains of Corruption to, and zone away fourth wall so they couldn't stop Shelly. And obviously the mid towers are really important, right? Once you break down that first mid tower, it does open up the map a lot more, so you can move into the enemy jungle, put vision down, stuff like that. And that vision at this point might not mean a huge amount just in a vacuum, but with this next dragon spawning and with Ruddy being trying to get towards that soul point, next dragon they take would be their 3rd one. That vision can be huge for them to set up that plane. As everyone mentioned, you do not want to face check Ruddy. You're playing dodgeball blindfolded. It's just not good. So many things coming out flying at you, and you're gonna struggle. So yeah, it could be a good setup for the future for Ruddy.
I think a big problem that Ruddy are having though right now between objectives, because that's a great point, right? But between objectives, is that they just can't side lane. We just saw Shihan get picked because you just get, you get engaged on by Lissandra, who can engage from a million range, and the pick potential from Lissandra Viego, you just get one shot in the side lane every time you overextend. And like I said, Shihan just got picked, but the same can be said with Jace. If a Jace ever goes to side lane, he's super easy to kill, right? With Fi pulling the Malphite trigger, with Jinrace pulling the trigger, with Chimera on this Alistar pulling the trigger, anything can kill him, right? So take a look at all the amount of CC they have, and you become a little bit concerned outside of these dragon fights.
Yeah, you do get a little bit concerned on that front. Shinyan actually looking for Jinrius here, but Chimera's in the area. Jinrius has ultimate. He just ease away, decides he doesn't want to take that fight, would rather get the reset off, and isn't going to overcommit. But he is heavily chunked now, so Shinrian. Sheehan. I don't know why I'm calling him Shimrian. Sheehan.
Shinrian. There's a lot of extra letters there that you're
I'm
Jake.
just suffering with giga dyslexia today, apparently.
Yeah, it's alright. You get yourself some Wagamamas in you and you'll be all good to go.
I don't know, man. These pauses are making me sweat. Wagamamas closes at 10, and I've got to get there. It's like a 20-minute drive.
What are you going to phone up an order? And then
I'll order online, but the problem is I don't know where the cutoff is on online.
Right. That could be difficult, actually. Hopefully they'll know more. If the teams are listening, Jake needs his Wagamamas.
Come on, Ruddy. All 4-4. Actually, you know what? I'm impartial. Just win quick. Just give me a quick win so we can get this time back, because we lost a lot at the beginning of the day.
Look at Chimera's health bar, by the way. He is struggling. My man is struggling out here to tank these saplings. That is purely sapling and one Jace Q, right? He cannot face check. This is what I'm talking about, right? You need to start in river and just concede mid, because nobody can tank these. Look, the Jinrace doesn't want to. It's terrifying, right? So maybe you come in at a different angle. You can see Chimera's trying to come in from a flank, whereas health bar doesn't matter as much, and try to secure this honey fruit.
Chimera! He's dead!
Right before dragon spawns as well, and
Oh, that's a big chains. That's a big chains. Fi can't even press R in time. They're going to have to give that one up.
Oof, this is looking really tough right now for fourth wall, because this is exactly it. Like, if you don't have the face check, then you're screwed. And who died here? It's the two tankiest people from fourth wall. Ruddy are not lacking for damage at all. The Alistair specifically, really, like, Alistair is tanky because when he jumps in, he presses R and he's like really hard to bring down. But if you're just poking him and it's not in a situation where he can press ulti, he's really not that tanky at all, especially with these Eden Shroud builds, right? As we see more often and more frequently nowadays. He's honestly pretty easy to focus down, and that is the third dragon now though for Ruddy. They're on soul point here. Mountain soul as well is going to be a real pain to play against, so fourth wall going to have to try something here. They do have some good catch though, some good pick potential in their team if they can get that work in and not get picked on the other side by Ruddy.
Yeah, every single fight they're fighting against the clock, right? Before they get poked out, and they have to just concede mid when they contest these dragons and just be in the pit. That way you're not around bushes and you could just, not get poked out like as much as you were, because every time you walk near a bush, right, you just could not retake river. So it does look like the same thing's going to happen around topside. Zapdo is on the objective first, and they're just going to have to try and, feel it out, try and get through it.
Well, they are going to rotate Pi up as well. The big problem they've got is this mid lane tower still standing, so it's just like a nice space for Ruddy to kind of hide under when they want to try and, move into the river, whether that be for Baron or Dragon. Pui does find themselves getting jumped onto, but is able to just about avoid away on that Everfrost and shall escape as fourth wall a little bit too hesitant to step up and finish this ward. Fi feeling quite comfortable to be able to do that, though. He's a tanky boy at this point, although he is rocking a lot of armor, which does mean that Toaster's AP damage not getting too much done to, or really much resisting from that.
Yeah, he's still like a whiles away from being that real kind of like obnoxious Malphite that just doesn't care. He's certainly, well, exactly as you saw in that last dragon fight, if you lock him down, he will die to combos, like absolutely. Poster doesn't do a lot of damage to him unless he can hit him, stack up some blight, and then pop that blight with the AP build. Oh my goodness,
oh my word. He's just vibing, apparently. He does a lot of damage to Envy Carry. Envy Carry gets away.
Just walks away. What on earth was that? That was, alright, yeah.
He thought his team was way closer than they were. That's what he thought.
No.
Look at the flank Chimera has, by the way. This looks like a potentially decent fight if he can pull it off, but it's an ultless Malphite. So this is all on Jinrays to set up a team fight here, but they're coming at them with multiple angles, which is exactly what they need. Because Rel...
Oh, Ragnar's low already. They lock them down. Ragnar jumps over the wall, avoids everything. They find a shutdown, though, onto Ute immediately. Jimrius gets himself some damage off onto Toaster. Toaster is bailed out as Envy Carry finishes up Ragnar. Jimrius has nothing he can do. That is rough.
It was a good setup for fourth wall. It was almost what they wanted, but in the end, the trigger was pulled from Ruddy. You can't flank a team that moves out. It didn't play into fourth wall's hands, and it is going to be 4 kills for Ruddy, plus the Baron. So much going over to these guys, and that is just absolutely horrific for Jinrays and the rest of fourth wall.
I mean, and just like you said, like Chimera was looking for that flank, but then you just engage on the other side, right? Ruddy just engages on the other side, and there's just Chimera. You could see him waddling into the end of the fight, trying to pick off Toaster, but even he gets bailed out by the Renata, right? Because it's just Chimera on his own with no chain CC. We said they need to engage together and kill the first target they see. But when they're all split like this, and they get engaged on from different angles, right? They get one of their flanks engaged on. They just can't do this and pull it off. In the end, Ruddy just coming out on top there with the Baron.
I think the major issue as well that fourth wall had there was they split their engage on so many fronts that, yeah, they weren't all going to get caught at once, but it just left Ragnar with nobody to protect them.
Yeah.
So he just got absolutely deleted at the start of that fight and just couldn't really do much. Shinyan actually gets jumped onto. They're immediately going to pull the trigger. Ragnar once again has been left alone. They find the lockdowns. Sheehan able to find himself the kill. Jimrius gets a little bit more there. Fi comes in, finds the save, and oh my word, here's the potential follow-up. They've got the slows, they've got the passage from the Lissandra, but they can't hold on for too much longer. Everybody is bleeding out. Chimera desperately trying to get away, finds the knock-up. Sheehan finds the kill, and Ruddy, this is their game to win.
They got the wombo combo there with the Malphite knock up into the Lissandra engage, but didn't quite get the resets for fourth wall. There could have been huge in that team fight with all of those resets, like hopping around with his ult from target to target, just executing all those low health people. Didn't quite find the in. It was so close though. Like, I know at the end of the day that was only one person from Ruddy dying, and obviously fourth wall looking really quite awful in that fight as they came out of it. But serious, that, you know, like 100, 200 less health on a few targets on Ruddy, and you just gets that, you know, he starts mopping everything up. That could have been so good for fourth wall. Unfortunately for them, doesn't quite work out that way, and Ruddy with another one team fight, looking to secure the Dragon Soul here with this fourth Mountain Drag.
Yeah, and it only throws a wrench further in their plans, because when you have to kill the enemy to secure resets, and you're playing a reset composition like this, Mountain Soul just completely ruins that plan, right? It completely turns everything on its head, and now you can no longer even kill someone like Toaster, who's just shielded up and really beefy. Does look like they're going to try and make a play onto NB Carry there.
They're going to jump forward, but not going to be able to find him. This tower is still up, so NB Carry is so safe to be this far down into the mid lane at this point in the game. And on the other side of the map, with Baron, Ruddy are just going to turn their attention towards the tower as this crumbles, and bot lane being now sieged up on from the side of Ruddy with the Baron buff. And it is going to get harder and harder here for fourth wall. I mean, their wave clear is all AP as well. And the Baron finally does fade off, so does do some good for them. As yeah, you didn't mention it. Chimera is on that flank. They're going to throw down the Twisted Advance, immediately catching out onto Jimrius, who has to E away to safety. He loses his life as NB Carry flashes the wall. They're keeping the pressure up. Can he find the miracle? Ragnar not really able to do too much damage here as Ruddy just waiting for the minion wave to come in. Toaster's getting jumped onto. Ragnar finds a shutdown, but he's not got anyone else to really help him other than Chimera, who has to flash away, but Chimera is down. And that is a double kill picked up for NV Carry. The tower will crumble. The inhibitor will be left open. And Ruddy, this might just be their closing here.
Yeah, I think it's just Shihan is too big, right? They cannot burst down this Crocodile. Sterex, the Gauntlet is just way too much. And despite Ragnar making this hero play, I think this just might be the game.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be too much more they can do about this one. Ooh. Tower goes down. Pi does get himself a fight. Sorry, gets himself a knock up onto the 4 members. In comes the shutdown. Picked up immediately, hit by Jimrius. And Ruddy may have overstayed their welcome as Zapdo is being chased out. Gets the knock back. Can they keep the pressure up? He's up onto Mana. The double kill secured. And we ain't done yet.
And as we all knew and Aragon said this would be the game, fourth will pull off the defense. Beautifully done with that flash ulti from Fi. This time around, that flash ulti actually was pretty significant here, and some big shutdowns being taken as well with this tower. You'd think goes down to another bounty on this objective. Fourth just got a big injection of gold, and with it maybe some life.
Yeah, didn't quite manage to take that bounty from the Renekton, which I was trying to highlight. He's just so unbelievably unkillable with the backup of this Renata. Still, best case scenario, you don't drop your Nexus just yet. I've come back further from behind than this, and I'm sure you guys have too. Winnable? Question mark? What do you guys think?
They just got 1,000 gold onto Jimrius from the shutdown. Goes back immediately, buys 2 needlessly large rods. They're in a relatively good spot. I don't want to say it's recovered entirely. They haven't opened in Nexus, and someone has to be dealing with those super minions bot lane because there's nothing to stop them from pushing in. So Ruddy feel pretty comfortable to get the setup onto this Baron, and I think if they get this Baron, that's game at that point. Yeah. I don't think there's any coming back from it at that point.
The issue I have here with the comeback from fourth wall is, like, I think this next fight is massive. And the problem is that there are double stopwatch from Toaster and NB Carry, so it's going to be very hard to win this fight.
Oh, they're going in for the fight, though. They're going to look for it. Fi's coming in on that flank. Can he get in range is the question. He's bot back. He's kept out of the fight for the moment. Ragnar jumps away to safety. You coming in, but the bailout is huge, and it stops you from getting the resets. It stops him from surviving. Shihan, absolutely huge. And that is a clean ace for Ruddy. That's going to be the game.
And it absolutely starts with a beautiful ultimate from Pui, getting a 5-man Renata ultimate for the disengage so that they cannot focus down a target. And then the stopwatches come down just like Foxy highlighted, denying those resets. And in the end, they manage to take it. Ruddy take the Nexus.
That was so clean by Pui. We kind of talked about the ability to deny the resets from the side of Fourth Wall, but Pui doing so much work there. Those bailouts just stopping those resets from snowballing away from them. Absolutely amazing game from Ruddy, and they made that look not easy, but definitely they look like they had the most control of any of our wins today.
Yes, that's a good point,
funny, right?
honestly. Oh, sorry, Rita. Hello, Rita. How you doing? Welcome back.
Yeah, hello. I'm here. Right, like it's been a long time, guys. I haven't seen you for like 25 minutes or something. Yeah, I don't know. But no, I was about to say this, right? Because like this game, there was a lot of kills between the 20-minute mark, like before the 20-minute mark. It was like averaging like a kill a minute or something like that, right? Like, and then all of a sudden, Ruddy just seems to be the team with most control as you're talking about Hip Brain. So Foxshop kind of take that from that then.
I think the issue was like Jim Race on that Lissandra was really good in the lane phase, but I think the teamfight execution for me was just a little bit lacking from Fourth Wall. I think, yeah, I mean, I'll talk the last fight specifically. Jim Race didn't. I don't think he stopwatched, but he definitely didn't use his ulti, and he died like as the first target. I think that, you know, Fourth Wall had a good idea with all their TP flanks, and it was almost, you know, it almost worked, but Ruddy, you know, that comp is annoying and difficult to play against, and you know, I just think that Fourth Wall didn't execute it very well. Like, you know, like their setups on objectives and stuff like that were completely ruined by Ruddy's poke, and you know, at the end of the day, I think it was just a bit of execution diff, and Ruddy did it really well.
Yeah, I think the biggest turning point that game though was that dragon where Fourth Wall conceded River. Right, they had to not concede River because you cannot retake River versus the Maokai and Jace Varus composition. You face check that and you get chunked to half HP, and we saw that with Chimera. Right, he just got one shot out of the fight trying to find some crazy flank because he couldn't face check the saplings anymore. So definitely, if you are Fourth Wall, you got to take a look at your objective prep.
I think the main thing that I really liked about how Ruddy played that game was they didn't just recognize their win cons; they recognized the win cons of Fourth Wall. It was resets into resets. You know, the Lissandra passive into obviously the form taking from the Viego. Pui, he gets MVP from me because the amount of bailouts that denied that snowball every time. Like every time someone almost died that would have opened the fight up, a bailout went down, which then bought just that little bit more time to take out the Viego, to stop them from running away with that game. I genuinely think Renata carried the hell out of that game because that one pick denied any of what Fourth Wall's comp wanted to do.
That's kind of interesting, because that's kind of the point as well when you think about like one of the first real strong Pui performances we saw at the start of this season. Think back to that Soraka game, right, where he just absolutely annihilated everything that came through from that Gragas and Yasuo combination, if I recall correct, right? Like, he is very strong at playing these like denial champions to a certain extent. I guess you can kind of call Soraka as well as Renata Glass to a certain extent, Aragon.
Yeah, I think it was an incredibly good pick, right? Honestly, like I got kind of stunned by you saying Pui there. Here's my pitch, okay? I think Xian should get MVP, right? He was counterpicked. He was up 30 CS in isolation. Every time he joined a fight, yes, backed up by the Renata, but he was absolutely unkillable. Like, and was just, I think he was 1v9ing fights, just judging them from face value. So yeah, maybe a little bit top lane bias.
You know what, Aragon? Like, I'd actually normally agree with you, but the fact that it's top lane bias and it's also your main bias means your point is entirely redundant, and it's Pui who gets MVP.
So this means it's up to me to cast my vote then as the neutral.
Bias. I mean, I already told socials that we all agree on Pui, so.
I agree with Aragon. I think it's Shihan.
Oh, so come on, man! What are you talking about?
The thing is, it's a great point about the draft, right? You know, Shihan was counter-picked, he blind picked, and, you know, still did good stuff. His team fights are really good. I also think Renekton, when you're team fighting, it's not easy to do it, but he made it work, and that was great. And the thing with Pui, like, everything you said was right, Jake. Like, his ults carried the fights. His denial, as you were saying, Weisha, as well, like, it was instrumental as a pick, but I feel like, you know, the bailouts doing really well and stuff like that. Pui's number 2 for me, but I also think that a champion like Renata, if his team was worse, he would look worse as well, right? He would look a lot worse.
I appreciate your point, but I've already told the team that it's Pui who got MVP.
Okay, sorry, Xian. I tried my best.
You got robbed, bro. It's not like beat you to the punch.
I'm waiting final confirmation. We will be able to ask him that question in just a second. So let's get him on the line here, Shihan. So, hello, first of all. Congratulations on a great victory.
First of all, I'd just like to announce that my new name is actually no longer Shihan, it's Mr. Spin the Block. Okay, thank you. I'd just like to announce that.
Okay, well, Mr. Spin the Block, I would like to ask you, because we had a bit of a discussion on desk here, and there's a divide between putting you or Pui as the MVP for this game. So could you make your case for you as MVP this game?
Well, I mean, let's be real, right? I picked Renekton. I went into that top lane. I was up like 30 CS. And enemy Malphite was dizzy. I'm be real with you. He was dizzy. He did not know what was going on. He entered those team fights. He was like, hold on a second, what's going on here? And meanwhile, I'm just slicing and dicing, bro. I went in, I went out, I spanned the block all around. He had no clue what was going on. So I think with all due honesty, the player of the game goes to Mr. Spin the Block.
Well, love a good humble player coming through here. Top lane's such a humble role in general, right? So so you guys going into the day, actually, you guys kind of in terms of positionings in the standings, you guys were locked in third pretty much, so not a whole lot to play for in that regard. But your eyes are now all on to playoffs, I assume. So what is the end goal here? Is it going to be Ruddy up all the way to the championship, or what's the status?
Listen, I'm going to keep it 100% honest with you. It's plain simple. Ruddy is going to win it all. We're just going to win the next. We're going to win the one. We're going to win the one after that. We're going to win the one after that too. And if there's another game after that, we'll probably win it. Why? Because we're Ruddy. And Ruddy the fuck up, bro. That's what I'm going to say.
Ruddy up all the way to EMEA Masters here. So, final question here. You are on a very nice PC, gifted by a very nice man, I believe still, right? So,
yes.
What has that meant for you, like, overall, as, like, for your career trajectory, right? Like, now you come in, you're playing competitively, like, where do you think yourself, like, obviously, you are Mr. Spin the Block now, so you're no longer Shihan, so you do a bit of name recognition in that regard, gotta build up your own brand here, but, like, where is the end game goal for you?
The end game goal, listen, I'm going to reach the absolute top, the new heights that you have never even heard of, like, past the stars, past the universe. I'm going to leave the universe. I'm going to enter a new universe. And in that new universe, they're going to be like, who's this guy? And I'm going to tell them, yo, I'm the rank 1 League of Legends world player. And why? All because of the PC that I got and my new profound purpose. That's my goal.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Spin the Block, previously known as Shihan.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Mr. Spin the Block, what can I say? Dude,
Spin the Block.
So stupid. I love Ruddy, man. These guys are so crazy. It's like a team who just somehow like put all their points in charisma, but still somehow are able to like play League of Legends insanely well at the same time. They're so funny. Every interview of Ruddy is so good, man.
Well, it would be like charisma and dexterity. I don't know. Like, do you need intelligence or wisdom, Jake? You're the most experienced D&D player at this table.
Yeah,
what
would
be like? How would you split your if you were to like create the best League of Legends player from like a D&D block, like the traditional split where you like have no point by
strength.
Yeah, you put maxed out. So strength is dump stat, obviously, right? So we're gonna put 8 points into strength.
If you wanted to min-max a League of Legends player, you're literally going all dex and all intelligence. They're like the two things. Somehow Ruddy managed to get charisma in there as well. I don't know how they did that. I don't know, bro. They're just built different, aren't they? Like that team is just built so different. They're so funny. Mr. Spin the Block, what a name. I'm gonna call him that from now on. I'll forget. I say this now and I will forget it.
I mean, you could say his actual name and it was on the screen. What were you calling
him?
Shinari or whatever?
I wasn't even calling his name right. I was calling him Shinnigan or something.
Imagine though, like having to like be in like a team fight. It's like, and here comes Mr. Spin the Block from the side on the flank. Just like, absolutely trip over your words, right? But oh yeah, Aragon, do you have anything else to say? Is that your new nemesis in the top lane, Mr. Spin the Block?
You know, of all the top laners in the NLC, I think he's like one of 2 I haven't faced yet in solo queue. He might just be too high elo, but I hope to play against him. And yes, until then, he's my nemesis.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like you're probably a little bit below him at this point.
Yeah, probably.
Just get good.
I'm a bit washed.
I'm sorry, Aragon. I keep flaming you. I like all season. I've just been like, you know what? I've chosen violence against Aragon. I don't know why. There's something in Renekton players.
You just
It
hate
brings
top
it out.
laners.
It's his predictions, man.
Yeah, it is. It's, I don't know. Maybe just don't be 4 points behind me when I'm trying to throw.
Oh, it's disaster, isn't it?
Speaking of that, Jake, we are actually going to throw to a break because
Hey!
we need to get ready for the final game of the day. So don't go anywhere, guys, and we'll be right back.